What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Logistical Styles coming at you with another video, and today we are doing a gig log. So this is a wedding that I just did over the weekend, and it was a very small, easygoing wedding out in the country, and it was kind of like what I've heard Phil Morris reply to as or refer to as like a ramp up gig. And for me, it was a ramp up gig because this is my first wedding of the year and of my wedding season period. All this year I've been doing pool parties, corporate parties, and other type anything but weddings. But now I've got like 10 of them already lined up and a couple more dates filling in as well. But this is like my ramp up gig because it's easy, it's low pressure, and just wanted to do a quick gig log on it. It's like I said, this is a very small wedding. In fact, I didn't even do the ceremony. The ceremony was held in a church, and the reception was held in, I guess, like a multi-purpose room built onto the church. So the whole thing was happening on church grounds. And that's kind of important because that means there's no alcohol. The music has to be super, super clean, and it's probably a lower budget wedding. So that was all true and that did come into play, but I was able to work with it pretty easily. It was a small group of people, mostly older folks were there, I guess older family members, older church members, and this is out in the country. This was in a city called Monroe, Georgia, so it's not like Atlanta. It's out there. It took me about an hour and 20 minutes, about an hour and a half to get out there, and another hour and a half to get back. In fact, that's the same amount of time that the gig was. I spent the equal amount of time traveling back and forth to the gig as I did at the gig. It was a 3 hour wedding reception. So I got there in time to set up. I could hear the ceremony happening in the church, the main hall, because they had the mics feeding into the hall that I was in, so I could be aware of what was happening. But the ceremony ended pretty quickly. People came through. In fact, let me show you what the room looked like because I got there early enough to get set up before everybody came in. This is what it looked like. So this is like I said, it's in the multi-purpose room for a church. They have a little kitchen in there, but they did all the decoration, so I didn't even bother bringing in any kind of DJ furniture. I just bought in my Rev 5 in the coffin, which is pre-wired with the wireless mics, and I was using DJ Pro on my iPad Pro, and I ran XLRs directly into the RCFs. This is what the room looked like. So you can tell that this is not a real big or fancy venue. This is just a room that's used for many different purposes. There's the kitchen area, and that's about as many seats as there were. And to kind of give you an idea, if they didn't have a DJ, they'd be using this sound system, this little boom box. So that's just the way it was. And I worked with it. I have DJ furniture and I don't get to use it as often as I want to because when you get these smaller weddings, a lot of times they're just like this is actually a nicer room. Sometimes I've done stuff at state parks and you're in the shelters is what they call them, but they're just like little cabins and there may be one or two electrical outlets in the whole cabin. So this was actually a nicer location out there for them to have this wedding. And some people they just want to have a small wedding. They don't want to spend a whole lot of money. They still, they spent over 1,000 for DJ, and I think the person I subcontracted this gig from, he also added on photography as well. But it was a very easy gig. It started at 3 o'clock, ended at 6 o'clock. Actually ended before that. It was booked or scheduled to end at 6 o'clock, but I was in the car driving home by 5:40. Let's see. Yeah, so I had my Rev 5 out there. Everything worked well. I've been working with having my Shure microphone system pre-wired into the coffin, and that seems to be working for me. I really like that. It makes things easy. So all I gotta do is, place the coffin where it needs to go and um, go from there. I did try to get some footage of what little dancing that they did do. Like I said, this was a majority older couple, not couple, but the guests were mostly older folks, and they just kind of sat down at the table, ate the free food that was given to them, and sat and watched while we tried to run through these special dances and formalities, and everybody went home. So I did manage to put together a little bit of a video. Um, I posted it on my social media, but I'm going to run through it here without the music because I don't want to get a copyright strike. But I had my drone with me, so I tried to make a nice little kind of a fancy video. Um, Nothing too fancy, but just I like to make my social media look a little bit different than what I've been doing in the past, which is just me posting pictures. So I've got the tools for my drone, so I have the tool of a drone, so I bring it with me now to my gigs. And this is just like what the outside looked like. This is about as much dancing as they were willing to do. They wanted to do line dances, and even then, the people that were requesting the line dances weren't necessarily people doing the dance. They wanted to watch the younger folks dance. But very small, easy wedding. I don't think the rest of my weddings will be like this at all for the rest of the year. And I'm looking forward to the rest of them that I do have booked. But I did learn some things from this wedding because uh, this was like I said, all year I've been doing parties and events where I could just kind of go. Maybe there's a couple of songs I play at a certain time, but for the most part, it's just been just show up and play. And it's easy to do that with DJ Pro on my iPad, but this is my first wedding using DJ Pro. So I'm still used to Serato with being able to jump in and out of prepared crates and my seeing just knowing the layout of the Serato screen. So I have to get used to that with DJ Pro. I'm a little more comfortable with it with using DJ Pro on the laptop as far as being able to jump in and out. So that's one thing I realize I need to work on a little bit more. And because I have the Rev 5 now, I'm able to have my laptop running DJ Pro and my iPad running DJ Pro right up next to each other side by side. So it'll be a smoother transition. I'll start getting used to using both of those devices. But yeah, so I think I need to get a little bit more or have more in-depth conversations with the clients to get their idea of what the plan is for the day because there was a lot of confusion. Even though I got my usual set of emails with the songs and the list of when the songs are going to be played, apparently there was a third email that went out, or maybe they thought they sent it, but they had three other songs that were not given to me, or I didn't even know that there was going to be this type of a dance. First of all, they filled out that there was a father-daughter dance, and then a mother-son dance. That was wrong. I announced a mother-son dance, and I don't know if the mother is not with us anymore, or she just didn't come to the wedding, or whatever. There was no mother-son dance, so it ended up being the bride danced with her father, then danced with um, her sister, then danced with her daughter, then danced with one of the bridesmaids, and then um, and it started off with the first dance. So the last three dances I didn't have, and I mean you see what the room looked like. So people were just kind of sitting there waiting, and she walks over to me with her phone out, and she's like, here, it's this one. And thankfully I was using my iPad with a cellular signal, so I didn't have to worry about Wi-Fi or anything, and I was able to stream it from Tidal right there. So it took maybe a couple of seconds, but it was very awkward seconds. And I thought that, in my opinion, I was like, this is a disaster. This looks like really bad. But it was, certain people have certain levels of expectation. And I think out in these country, rural areas, they're not too big about certain formalities or, making things look too super fancy. But, you know, um, I think, if it was a bigger wedding, closer to the city, there would have been more better communication. I don't think this would have happened at all. But these people were really, really laid back and just super chill. And like I said, I felt like it was, kind of messy, but she's less than 48 hours after the wedding, she's given us a 5-star review. So I mean, client's happy, the event went well. They tipped well at the end of the event, and so I mean, it seemed like a success all around. It's just that I felt like that was something that could have been better. But anyway, at the end of the gig, I did a private dance with the couple. They loved that. They had me film it on their cell phone for them because the photographer had already left, but they were very happy with it, and it turned out well. But one thing I can say about this wedding, it did make me think about some things, and that is why you as a DJ have to approach every gig differently and accept it for what it is. I know a lot of times we get on the internet and look at DJs on social media and these Facebook groups or even on YouTube, DJs like me, myself included. We make these videos talking about our events and talking about best practices and what you should do and what you shouldn't do. And you kind of have to take all this stuff with a grain of salt because the truth of the matter is we all do different type of gigs. Some of these DJs that we see on social media, they only do weddings. So they look at things from the perspective of a wedding DJ. There are some that only do bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs, and they approach it from that angle. And then there's DJs that only do travel gigs. So all they know is, what to expect when they show up to a place and they have a rider with, their needs, and then there are those like me who are kind of in the middle. We do a little bit of everything. So you really have to kind of, don't put too much pressure on yourself if you're not doing or you feel like you're not meeting the standards of other DJs. You should always, let the client decide if you're meeting the standard, I think. You and the client first, and then you feeding off of their input should be able to tell whether or not you're doing the right job, not random people on the internet, because we don't always know, what you're doing. And we're not necessarily talking to you specifically, we speak in general terms, and, you take what you can from these videos and try to apply it. But there's no written rule book. There's no official written rule book as far as how to DJ. There may be some books out there you can read to get some extra knowledge, but there's nothing that's official and that's written in stone. So always be willing to be flexible, especially with your client. And when things don't go the way you want them to go, don't think that it's a failure because the client may still be very happy. And that's what happened with this event right here. I hope these videos are informative. I'm going to try to do a lot more gig logs because I have more gigs coming up and I do want to give my perspective on things. But, like I said, nothing's written in stone and there are no rules. So if you like this type of content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I will catch you on the next video. Peace.